Always good to touch base with our good friend Lake Lewis. Does a great job covering the NFL. Of course, the NBA. Kind enough to join us on the Boardwalk Honda Hotline on this Friday for a couple moments. How you been, pal?
Hey, what's going on, Q? What's going on?
Everything is going well. I can tell right away. We're getting right into the NBA. I don't know if you just heard what happened with Melo and the OKC. So it looks like bye Melo.
So what?
Yeah, that's kind of what we just said.
Yeah, then talking about the Lakers and all that stuff with him. I just hate to say it. I just think he's at the point right now in his career where he's done. He's almost a liability at this point. Yeah. He is, and offensive players will always be able to give you some offense from time to time, but he doesn't do anything else. He doesn't make guys around him better, and he's a black hole with the ball. So I just don't see him at this point in the role that he thinks he should be playing. I don't think he's capable of doing that. I think he would be tailor-made, for a team that's capable of winning, a la, say, a Golden State type team, or maybe even a Houston team where he could come off the bench and get the shots that he wants, but that would be all that's expected of him, maybe 20 minutes a game, and then that's it.
That's a $310 million payroll, and you got to think about the luxury tax bill. I mean, so listen, that basically could deliver the Thunder over $100 million in cost savings. I mean, it had to be done.
Of course it did. Of course it did. And I think when Paul George, decided to stay there for the immediate, long run, I think they realized that they only needed two guys. That they have their two alpha guys, alpha scorers, and they've got a decent cast of role players around them. Adams is a pretty decent center. And they have the young kid. I'm drawing a blank here that they can put at the 2-guard spot. So they have a lot of young players and pieces that they can win with. So I think they've got a chance to do.
Listen, I wasn't as shocked that LeBron opted out. Maybe a little surprised he chose to go to the Lakers, which tells me every move is calculated. It's a methodical approach, so he probably knows a lot more than we do. For Sixers fans, it's hard for them to really digest and understand there was no chance in hell LeBron James was signing with the Philadelphia 76ers. Be that as it may, shocked that he's with the Lakers. I mean, if anything, a lot of people in the Eastern Conference should be smiling because you basically got stronger.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a Sixers fan, I don't know how upset you really should be because he basically just opened the door for you and pretty much Boston to battle it out next year for the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. I will say this, though. I never considered Philadelphia to be a legitimate, player for him and his services because, for one, it's a young team that's devoid of what he needs in order to compete. And I'm, so I guess what I'm saying is look at it this way, Q. If you're going to go to one team that still has, issues as far as what he needs to compete, and that's shooters.
Right.
Which one would you choose from? Where would you rather be, Philadelphia or Los Angeles?
That's true.
Call it what it is. This guy's thinking long term. He's already dabbling in movies as far as production and money, and then there are guys that are out there that let's call it another way that are his equals as far as their career legacies with Kobe, with Magic. And they're businessmen. These guys are making a lot of money. Magic Johnson's a billionaire on his way, if he's not there already.
It's all about branding.
Exactly. It's about branding, and there's no other better place outside of maybe New York City than Los Angeles. And I think that this was more about that than it was necessarily just winning, because I think he knows they're not going to win right away. There'll be a playoff team this year, I think, in the West, but they're not going to beat Golden State. They're not going to challenge Golden State. And I think he knows that, but I think he also realizes, too, that there's life after basketball, and that's coming sooner than later.
Yep, no doubt. I would agree with that assessment. Back to the Sixers and the whole, listen, they were never going to get LeBron. Who knows how serious the George thing was. And now you've got the speculation with Kawhi Leonard and the unwillingness of them to package Markelle Fultz, even maybe package Dario and Fultz and draft picks. I mean, let me ask you this, and I'll tell you right now, full disclosure, I would not give up on Fultz. I would not package him in a deal to get Leonard. And I'm concerned with Leonard from a head standpoint and also health issues, because my belief is if you can't make it work in San Antonio with that type of professionalism, and listen, there's enough blame to go around. Now you come to Philadelphia where they still don't have a GM. The culture has been a little dicey. And to be honest, you're bringing a guy with that personality onto a squad that's extremely young and impressionable. And as great as he is, I would not like that move. It makes him better, but that's just my opinion. I'm indifferent on the move if they were to do it.
Yeah, I don't think it's a good move at all. I wouldn't move Fultz either. I'm a DC guy. He's from here, and high school to Massa. I mean, he's a good kid, and I will say this: I thought Brett Brown, for all the really good things that he's done as the Sixers coach, and they've stayed the course, the whole the process, the whole nine. I didn't like the way they handled Fultz this year. I didn't. I knew that he himself had some things that he had to work through, improve, and get back out there. But you're talking about a number one draft pick that was sitting on the bench in the playoffs, and this is the problem that I'll say. I think the Sixers started to kind of smell themselves a little bit, where they really felt like they could make a run, and I don't think that was the big picture. I really don't. And so now you did have some playoff experience. You won a series against Miami, but you did that without your number one draft pick experiencing it, because he really didn't play. He didn't play at all. So I just don't think that was a good look long term. And now you're saying, he's untradeable. They don't want to give up on him right away. Well, you did.
That's the thing. That's the thing. And see, now you're dealing with a young kid that he already lacks confidence in a broken shot, and people think maybe he's soft mentally.
Right.
I think that's a rough criticism. That's a rough angle to take, because he's still 19, 20. Well, here's the thing.
And you didn't help him by doing what you did.
Yeah, but there's also a flip side to that, Lake. What if all of a sudden the Sixers are saying, listen, we believe in this kid because we don't want to package him, and then this kid continues to be a no-show, or he can't get his act straight, right? Now all of a sudden they have major egg on their face.
They do. I mean, I've said this all along. I didn't think, and again, I'm a guy that's from here, knows about this kid. I didn't think that was the guy they should have taken. I just didn't think that, because I knew that they knew that Simmons was going to be literally their point. And I understand Simmons may not be the quote-unquote true point guard. But we do know that they like to have McConnell out there as well. But Simmons is a ball-dominant player. Let's call it what it is. A ball-dominant player with no shot.
No, but we know that, and we argue that every day on the air with Sixers fans. I don't know what they're watching. If you develop a shot now, it's almost like you have another acquisition, because you have a shooter. You draw that defense in, you can blow right by him, and it creates so much more spacing on the floor.
Yeah, and let's call it like it is. If Simmons miraculously this offseason develops a jump shot, what does that do for Fultz then? I mean, that hinders him even more, because he was supposed to come in and they were going to be like an off guard type situation where one of them could bring the ball up off the other. But now you have two guys that can't shoot. It creates a big dilemma, and I don't know if they can actually coexist with each other, not being able to shoot. So.
And by the way, not to cut you off, Lake, just real quick, I'm not sure if you're aware of this. He's not going to play in the Summer League.
That's a bad look. I mean, it's just he needs all the reps he can get at this point right now, and I get it. He's number one pick. You don't want to risk anything, but he hasn't done anything, and he needs to play. This is different from Ben Simmons, who was hurt, and, and technically his rookie year, we know about that situation. But he still got some practice time in and developed some things. But I think with Fultz, you're right. We're dealing with confidence issues, and it just didn't look good to have a number one draft pick. I don't think I've ever seen that in the NBA.
People think right away it's just going to go off for someone, right? That light switch is going to go off. And it doesn't necessarily – and maybe this is not the place for it to happen. I don't know. By them suggesting they don't want to package him, they have confidence, or maybe they just maybe they know they flubbed the pick, and by trading him, that basically lets everyone know we flubbed the pick. I don't know what they're thinking.
Well, if that's the case, then you trade them. I mean, because you want to get something before the secret's really out.
Well, but you're talking about an organization that gets lost in the bathroom. I mean, honestly, you're talking about an organization that has to force a GM to resign because of a burner account, makes the head coach be the interim GM, who's done an admirable job. They still don't have a GM in place. They've never been fully transparent with the fan base over the last several years. They've misdiagnosed injuries, so they don't even know. Honestly, they're lost at times. They are lost.
That's I don't, not being up there, I can't attest to all of those things, but I can say, I did feel like they felt themselves a little bit as far as the talent level that they had.
They did a special. They were hyping them up before they started.
Right, and what Boston showed them was there wasn't a veteran team that destroyed Philadelphia. It was a young group of guys, just like what Philly has. I mean, you had Tatum as a rookie. You had Jaylen Brown. You're talking first, second year guys.
But depth.
These are guys that showed them guys aren't ready yet.
Yeah.
You're not as close as you thought you were. So I say that, and not to bash the Sixers, because I do think they've got incredible talent. They've got two young faces that can be special,
no doubt.
But they're also not going to be the same team that they were last year either, because you're going to lose some guys.
Well, you lost depth with Bellinelli and Ersan. You lost some shooters.
Yeah, exactly. So, and those guys were key guys. They were glue guys. It was nice that Redick re-signed. How he accepted the contract he got, I'm shocked, because he could have got more money. That's a whole other story. But it just, I think this is where people needed to understand why LeBron wasn't going to Philadelphia. That wasn't what was tailor-made to be set up to be successful instantly. I do think, again, I think they're going to be really good next year, meaning that they have a chance to be a 50-win basketball team. They really do. And but what are they going to be able to be a fully loaded Celtics team? I don't think so. I really don't.
Now, it yet's to be seen. Listen, got about 30 seconds before I let you get out of here. Do you think there's any truth to the fact that Leonard doesn't want to play with LeBron, and that's why he's more inclined, if anything, his other destination would be the Clippers, not the Lakers?
I don't know what's going on with Kawhi Leonard, and I'm actually disappointed, because he was one. I don't want to say was. I mean, because just from a basketball standpoint, he's one of my favorite players in the league. And the way he plays on the court is not the way he's behaving off the court.
Here's the problem: the more he keeps doing this and saying things, or these reports come out, it's going to be tougher and tougher and tougher to trade him for max value in return.
He's already been. I can say this. He's already been listed, and I don't want to say blackballed. He's been listed. And there are a lot of people that don't want to deal with that, because why deal with that on a one-year deal when next year he can walk and go wherever he wants?
Exactly.
So a lot of people don't want to mortgage their future for a player who may not want to be there. And I just don't see him in Philadelphia being a long-term fit. I just don't. I think the Sixers have enough young pieces in place to just continue to grow, continue to groom. You don't need Kawhi Leonard. Yeah, if you want him to get to the finals and still get beat, that's not saying much, because you're already capable of getting to the finals now in the East with no LeBron being in it. So I just don't think you mortgage your future. As far as him going to the Lakers, it's a sad situation if he doesn't want to go and play with LeBron, because this reminds me similar to a Dwight Howard situation, and Dwight Howard is now here in D.C., ironically. But, Dwight didn't want what was going to come his way with Kobe handing him the keys to the city. There's a lot of pressure, and clearly LeBron is given the keys to the city now, going to L.A., but to have Kawhi there, it would have been a good fit just from the standpoint of, those are two top 5 players. They're all NBA players. You would have a nice little 1-2 punch there. Problem is they kind of play the same position, and they do very, very, very similar things. But I think LeBron would make life a lot easier for Kawhi Leonard, probably more easy than he's ever had in his career playing in San Antonio.
All right,
but if he doesn't want it, I don't think Magic and LeBron and Kobe and all those great Lakers out there who are still around the building, they don't want him there if he doesn't want to be there.
Great points. Hey, fantastic stuff as always, my friend. I'm tight against time. Always appreciate the extended time and segment, and we will talk next week. Have a great weekend.
Sounds good, my friend. Take care.
All right, you got it. Lake Lewis, always really good stuff with Lake all the time.